Welcome to the Underground Nation podcast, where the underground rises and voices that refuse to be silenced are heard. Tonight, we introduce Jade the Nightmare, Denver's pioneer of Goth Hop, blending rap's lyrical edge with nu metal's raw power and gothic intensity. From recording at age 11 to signing at 15 to now running her own Goth Hop Empire Entertainment, Jade has built a fearless legacy. With albums like Everything's Corrupt and Is There Love in the Afterlife, she continues to push boundaries. Here's your host with the ghost, Ball Boogie.
Ladies and gentlemen, creatures of the underground, welcome back to another haunting edition of the Underground Nation podcast with your host with the ghost, Ball Boogie. Tonight, we're diving into the shadows of Denver, Colorado, straight out of Montebello, to bring you an artist who has been rewriting the rules of rap and metal since day one. She calls it Goth Hop, a genre that fuses raw lyricism with bone-crushing riffs, a sound that bleeds trauma, rebellion, and resilience all at once. From her self-produced debut, Everything's Corrupt, at just 15, to signing with Unforgiven Records, to now running her own label, Goth Hop Empire Entertainment. She's never compromised her vision. She's the mind behind records like Death Delight, Psychotopia, and Gothferatu. And she's fresh off her latest release, Is There Love in the Afterlife? You know the songs, it was you, Narcissus, You're Mine, Denver, the Underground, and the world. Make some noise for the one, the only, Jade the Nightmare. Welcome to the hot seat, Jade. How are you?
So much. Oh my goodness. I'm doing amazing. I'm so happy to be having this chat with you tonight.
Woo!
Here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. We're taking a break from your busy schedule to even speak with us. It's an honor. Thank you so much.
I am.
Yes, absolutely. I've been a fan of yours for quite some time, living here in Denver, Colorado. I've actually seen you perform a few times, but I never had a chance to actually meet you, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah. But with that said, let's take it back. I mean, growing up in Montebello, what role did your neighborhood play in shaping the artist you've become today?
Everything. Montebello is a very ethically diverse neighborhood to grow up in. I grew up mainly around Black kids, Mexican kids, and just a lot of the environment was very stereotypical of just like low income, people just trying to get by, people trying to get to know themselves and figure themselves out, not given everything that they need in life. So, I grew up with sort of that drive to really showcase my art and showcase that I can make it out of here, and still pay true to my roots of where I come from, and let people know that I'm passionate about the community. I'm passionate about, not showing up conventionally. I'm a very alternative person, which made me a minority within the minorities essentially as well. So, yeah. So it's something that, I showcase and I'm very forward with. I come from a community that is not very fortunate financially, but when it comes to shooting high and, really being artist and being driven and knowing that you're capable, that's something that, will never fade in my artistry at all. So
Never will.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very strong mindset that you have developed. Where do you feel that stems from?
Ooh, it goes way back.
Way back.
Really, just have gone through a lot, and people, I think, are surprised when I tell them how young I am. I'm 24, which I've never,
You're 24?
24, yeah. So
I didn't even think that.
This is an exclusive, mind you.
Watch out now.
Yeah, so this is an exclusive, and I've always conducted myself in a very mature way, even from a young age when I first started doing music. And that sort of background really shaped me into the woman that I am today. I had to grow up a lot quicker. And that was a product of my environment. It was a product of my family life. It was a product of just what I was going through internally with friendships and finding myself out and just learning who I am as an individual. So I would say like that drive just stemmed from I felt like I had something to prove at the end of the day. And I knew that I had to prove it to myself first. And in order for the world to perceive it, it starts with me. So I carry myself in that way. And, it's something like when people first initially meet me, they think that I'm intimidating. They think, like, what's the energy there? Surprisingly. But then it's like when they actually get to know me, they understand that like behind, even surface level appearance things, it's like I'm actually like a very down to earth person. I'm very humble about where I come from. And I have that background of like, I know what it's like to have very little and want to get more, and the world being against you and you're a minority in more ways than one, woman, Black, like alternative, all these different things, So it's like I've always had to fight for who I am. So that's kind of, where that's, stems from.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I admire your fight. That sounds intense. I'm sure there's some struggles in there that I probably wouldn't even understand.
Goes deep. It goes deep. We all have our different struggles. I always try to play I don't like to compare my struggle to anyone else's struggle. I think that we're all on this floating rock, going through it, world's on fire, but we're still making music, we're still making art, we're still loving, we're still, embracing the darkness, but still embracing the fact that we woke up today and we're here and we're present. So,
Absolutely.
It's deep.
Absolutely. The darkness makes the light shine brighter.
Right. Yep, you got it right there.
At age 11, your father gave you your first mic. Do you remember the first thing you recorded or wrote with it?
I was like a super big fan of Nicki Minaj at the time. So I like have a cover of one of her songs. I don't remember which one, but I had just sat down on the floor in my parents' house and what was I using? I was using Audacity at the time.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was humble beginnings, free software, DAW. I learned how to mix that way and it did not sound impeccable. Some lost footage, lost audio, so we will not be surfacing that. But it just let me know like I have to be an artist and I have to have an outlet. So
Absolutely. Incredible. So that's kind of the beginning of doing your own production as such. Are you 100% self-taught?
For the most part, yeah. Like I've worked with different producers and stuff. If there's something to, capture that I really like, I fully don't feel, comfortable with yet. But other than that, fully self-taught, from mixing, mastering, doing instrumental work, moving different elements and stuff. I do all my production myself.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, you're doing amazing work because I was bumping your music, doing research, and putting these questions together, and I was like, "Geez,
oh yeah,
this is amazing."
I try, and and I think part of just being an artist is being vulnerable. When you're still learning certain things and mixing certain elements. And lately that's just been, it's a journey. And there are ups and downs along with that journey, and some stuff might not be perfect, but it's the art.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's why we just keep bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
You cited 80s rap, new metal, classic rock as influences. If you had to pick one artist or band that embodies your sound, who would it be?
Great question. I would say Seven Dust.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I saw them live like 2 years ago as well, and I've just been a big fan of them. Just background wise, being fronted, by a Black man as well is something that I've always appreciated. And their artistry, their ways of like layering different themes, and it's beautiful music right there. So I would say that's like a good one that I can like pinpoint, but there's just so many, so it's very tricky. But that's just like the one at the surface for me right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually got to see Seven Dust live only one time, but it was an amazing performance. They put on a hell of a show, and he has a beautiful voice, even in person, like live, sounds amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, I have seen them with Static X, R.P. Wayne, and Dope. So,
That's very cool. Absolutely.
If you're digging Jade the Nightmare, wait till you hear what else we've got for you at underground-nation.com. We're shining light on the rawest, boldest, and most unapologetic voices from the underground. From goth hop to horrorcore, new metal to alternative rap, this is where the next wave lives. Exclusive interviews, features, music drops, and the underground goddess section you can't miss. So if Jade's got you hooked, dive deeper. Visit underground-nation.com right now and discover even more artists who are carving out their own place in the underground.
How did the idea of Goth Hop come to life, and when did you realize this was going to be your signature style?
Great question. So Goth Hop has been around for a long time. Kung Fu Vampire also, coins Goth Hop as his style as well. You have an array of artists that's still aligned with like Goth Hop and things like that. So I will never take full credit of like I created Goth Hop, but I think that I am forward with, okay, I think that I'm moving this forward, and this is something like I straight up identify with on a very core level, so I will say like Goth Hop is really the fusion of how I feel my identity aligns. So I'm alternative, I'm goth, I have all these different things. But then I also have this duality where I have like a background of like rap and hip hop and like the Black community and things like that. So it's like, is that fusion that I think really connects it for me. The sound is just dynamic. Goth Hop can stem from very like things like, The Cure with like this sense of like rhythmicness to it, but then it ranges into like my more like metal stuff that has like that hip hop sound. So it's a very playful genre that I have a lot of fun with creating for.
Yes, that's why I enjoy about it so much. There's so many different elements that go in and out of the genre, but it's exciting. Like, sometimes there's EDM style dubstep, wubby type sounds, and then sometimes it sounds straight metalish, and sometimes it's just straight hardcore gangster rap sounding almost. So I'm like, dude, you get the kind of the best of all worlds here, and it's such a diverse fan base. I mean, I feel like people that love goth hop usually love so many different genres that I just kind of mentioned there, and probably even a little more.
Mm-hmm. And it's the freedom of it. When I had first started off,
freedom, yeah,
freedom. Hey, it goes deep, and even to kind of dip my toes into that a little bit. When I had first started off with like rapping and stuff like that, there was a lot of unconventionalness to the way that I would rap. Like a lot of it was more aligned with like spoken word, which at the time, I was still evolving as an artist when I was growing up, obviously. So then people took it as, oh, okay, this is not standard hip hop. This is something different. So I was like, feeling kind of outcasted in the beginning. I was like, okay, like I have this style, I perform this way, I rap this way, but it's not really being accepted in the way like I initially would have thought it would have been. So then I was like, okay, cool. Let me try more like rock elements, metal elements, things like that. So then now I'm like, okay, so now you don't really know what to assign this to, So it's like I'm having that fun there where it's like I'm taking these unconventional, senses of music, and now you can't really assign it. So like, oh, this is straight up hip hop, whatever. Oh, like, you have to flow this way, you have to have cadence this way. And I just felt so constricted as an artist, just labeling myself as like hip hop, things like that, to where I'm like, okay, I needed to branch out and sort of like, cultivate something for myself as an artist.
Absolutely. With the diversity, do you feel that you could create a playlist that would cater to the audience? So if I booked you for a hip hop show compared to a all metal show?
Oh yeah, definitely could do that.
Fit right in there. She's gonna make her lane.
So much fun too. I would, love that.
Absolutely. As we're kind of talking here, your music balancing rap storytelling with heavy metal instrumentation. What's your usual process? Lyrics first or beats first?
Impeccable question. I will say typically the beat first. I sit with it, I feel it, listen to it at least 150 times minimum. And really understand how I'm feeling when I listen to that sound, and when I'm creating also just in the studio too. I'm like, okay, what am I feeling right now? Okay, what ideas, what memories, what photographs in the back of my mind are coming up that are aligning with, this instrumentation here. So then from there, I'm able to, okay, I want to express this in this way at this specific moment of the instrumentation. So then from there, that's like how it's building together. It's like, okay, I have a feeling, and then I have, okay, what I want my audience to hear. What am I really trying to convey right now? Because you can think that like you're feeling sadness, but then that sadness is actually rage. That sadness is actually anger. So it's like I really have to sit with it and understand, okay, feel it again, run it back. Okay, I remember that one time that one person did that one thing that pissed me off. So actually I'm not sad. I'm actually angry about it from a few years ago, and that's surfacing, and I need to really like lean into that and express that and let that go. So yeah.
Absolutely. As as a artist that does your own production, how do you feel it's a sense of meditation when you are sitting with the instrument or the program, and you just kind of get lost in the beat, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh my god, hours went by.
And I hope for it. Like I recently moved, got a bigger space, building the studio out still, so it's still in progress. And I will just sit there, and I'm more of like a night owl, which for obvious reasons, like
Me too.
it's no surprise. But yeah, you get it. It's just the world is so much more quieter. Less people are bothering you. It's easier to focus in and really understand, like what is going on internally. And that meditative state is almost like it gets me to a sense of like euphoria where I'll just like keep going and going and going. Where sometimes I don't even write my songs down. Sometimes it just comes out, and maybe I'll write it down later and then build onto it. But lately I've just been a lot of like improv. So.
Wow, that's incredible. Do you? I mean, as soon as you said that, Little Wayne popped in my head, and then you just said Nicki Minaj a little while ago, because that's kind of his process. It just kind of comes out.
Absolutely. It most certainly does. And sometimes those are just the most like raw,
Yeah.
when it just comes out, you're like, I didn't write that, that just, yeah,
Yeah, I'm just the messenger.
pretty much. Yeah. And sometimes that where sometimes I feel like there's an energy that does speak through me when I create. And it's funny because when people meet me like in real life, they're like, oh, you're very different than like your music portrays. Like you're a lot more calmer. And I'm like, yeah, I'm calm for a reason because I just screamed into a microphone for like
Yeah.
so it's like, I'm releasing something, and there's an energy that I'm cultivating and it's coming through in that way. So
Absolutely. Incredible. So when you dive into darker subject matter like trauma, pain, or societal issues, how do you make sure the music heals you instead of draining you?
that is a beautiful question.
Thank
I
you.
think that it is a process. It is definitely a process. And sometimes it does hurt for a while. There's been times where I have reopened wounds in order to write a song. And I have to sit with that. And I think the way that it heals me is not only not only how audiences perceive it, but also just knowing I allowed myself to confront this demon. I'm just gonna say it like that. I allowed myself to confront this demon and stare it head on and said, "You're done here. You are
Done here. Oh, I like that.
for real though. Like you're done here. The story has been told, the music has been written, and that is the way like I feel is most therapeutic for me as an artist is I'm able to confront what I've gone through and look at it and say no more. I release this now. The music has, been created, and there's been songs about people that they didn't know I was writing songs about, and they'll listen to the song and they'll be like, and I'll be like, and you're no longer in my life for a reason. There you go.
Oh my goodness, you're over here ghost busting with your music. Watch the fuck out, man. I didn't expect you to say that. That's awesome.
It's been an intense ride, to say the least.
Yeah, well, I just want to say on the behalf of the entire Underground Nation, thank you for being willing to be vulnerable and open those old wounds and be able to pour into your music, which ultimately pours into us.
Of course. Thank you for giving me the platform, giving me the ears, being open minded, because that, it can be hard sometimes. There's not many artists that look like me. There's not many artists that express the way that I express, both dark themes, sensuality, just different dynamic layers of everything that I have going on. People do not, in a broad sense, know how to respond. So when people just listen and they listen to, okay, feel it out, that is the bare minimum. Well, I mean, honestly, that is the most that I can ask for, is just hear me out.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is Jade the Nightmare. From her new album, Is There Love in the Afterlife? Up next, her haunting tracka, It Was You. Let the shadows speak. Let the underground rise. Turn it up. This is Jade the Nightmare.
Was you? How can I even decide? Where do I run? Where do I hide? Even when I sleep, I can't survive. Your presence, it burns me alive. It's obscene. I cannot see. I cannot breathe. I cannot be. This sick. What's inside of me? So I'm taking the kerosene. I'll light this road. Watch it burn slow. No, I had no place to go. Your face a nightmare, haunted curse. I'll drag it down and make it worse. The fire's mine. I'll watch it spread. Feed the flames and make you dread. Every breath you took, every word you spat. Now you see why this hell will last. My bag got rid of 6 left, 6 crimes on third track. Red lips, nail sharp as glass. I'll cut you so deep. With every breath you take, and not on your sleeve. You wanna defy, now feel the burn with every twist. Every turn you'll learn. I rise from the shadows and slow you turning. In silence, my powers earn. You thought you control, thought you'd win. Now watch me pull the strings with it. Tread carefully. I wanted the man, I wanted to kill, I wanted to feel, I wanted you heal, I wanted you to be everything you once were before it got real. Never knew it was you until it wasn't true. The lies like maggots on his body. I had no lie, but knew you lies inside your purpose. I lied to sink in mine. Siren, I gotta run, don't run from me. Watch me bleed, you're all I need. They're gonna kill me. I bet you just stay for me, and I just wanted you to stay in me. Now I can't have you in the streets. I'll hurt anyone that wants to break me, and I feel my heart is ready to release. And it keeps, and it sleeps, making me bleed. I won't sleep, it's got me weak. It was you, the reason I got through. All I ever knew, I don't want new. I want you. You was my boo, you was my love. You went crazy, I'll show you above. Rush to touch, it's a love, it's a devotion, it's trust, it's motion, it's like lotion. We soaks and it's poison, it's everything I ever knew. And it came like something I never knew. And I was me right next to you, it's you. You have no damn clue what I even do to get them away from you. But it's true, you deserve this, you earned it, you earned all. Everything that falls, and I can't call, I'm not delicious for you at all. And I won't speak, and I won't bleed, just wanna know what you think. What did we touch? What we used to feel so much. Your blood gives me such a rush that I want love is asking too much.
With everything that we just kind of said, I want to ask you kind of like a Denver-based question. Do you feel that you fit into the local scene, like playing local venues like the Roxy and stuff like that, or do you feel kind of outcasted from that scene and you kind of find other outlets?
I love the Roxy so much. I'm so appreciative of Scum for allowing me to perform at Gorefest. I have performed at his album release party. That is one of the most beautiful experiences. Anytime I go to the Roxy, people are saying what's up, people that I didn't even know knew I existed, and that feels like home. I will say, like, Denver and Colorado is like a broad sense is like a little bit hard for me to feel more like, within community, but there's very niche environments where I'm just like, okay, I belong here. It's been amazing. I really wish I was going to perform at Gorefest this year. I just had too much going on. I might still make a little sneak peek appearance. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I know. But as far as performing, I'll be back next year.
Very cool. Awesome. So what track from your catalog means, I know it's kind of a hard question, but what track from your catalog means the most to you personally and why?
Ooh, I was ready for this question.
Hey, watch out.
I know, I had this one ready. So on my most recent album, Is There Love in the Afterlife? It Was You. That song has voicemails, real voicemails, mind you, which was, a little bit risky for that song, but it's the name of the game. It's the artistry. It's real. Um, that song means the most to me for a lot of reasons. And like I mentioned previously, when you confront those demons and you release something, you release people, and I made it the first song of the album for a reason, because as soon as you put it on, you're immediately immersed into this experience. And that's a very atmospheric album. But I knew that first song had to be the most impactful and really suck you into my world of like, I went through some stuff to write that album. Oh yeah, that album was the culmination of 2 years of one of the most vulnerable yet transcending yet dark yet beautiful times of my life. And that album really ties all that together. And that first song, I went back and that song changed. It evolved at least 24 times, from changing the instrumentation to changing the placement of the voicemails to changing just different like vocal performances, because that song is really more of an experience rather than a song. It's a very important song to me, and it allowed me to release the people that I needed to release at the time, just because they were causing like a lot of emotional internal turmoil for me. So really diving in deep to that record, that song in particular, it set me free in a lot of different ways. So I always appreciate that song. And I knew from the moment that I was done mixing, mastering it, and just playing it back, I was like, this is gonna be one of those songs. Like I listen to it 5-10 years from now and be like, damn. And there's just, and there's previous records that I've done, like that I was even, I was 15 when I released Death the Light Part 2, and there's a song on there that I look back still. There's a few songs on there that I look back still. And I'm like, damn, I was young, and I was just open, and I was raw. And I remember specifically telling myself, and similar to this exact same record too, do not hold back. Do not care about people's feelings. Do not care about, oh, this is going to hurt this person's, ego. No, thank you. And yeah. So just being raw. And it's one of those songs where it's raw, and the people that it's about are listening to it actively. And I know they are. And saying like, wow, she really did me like that. But I'm like, you did me like this. So
yeah. Two-way street.
And it's never really a revenge thing. It's again just saying, I need to release this energy, and I'm releasing you. I've made the music, and that is what it is.
Yes, absolutely. My goodness, that could be a whole service in itself. Like, yo, Jade, I got some demons come exercise. Gonna make a song about this.
Yeah.
You're like 250. Please, banish this guy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you mentioned a number there at 15. At 15, you signed with Unforgiven Records. Mm-hmm. What did that early experience teach you about the music industry?
Community. They were so welcoming. Steezy Ann, he's still around. I know he's still around. We just don't talk, but he's still around. And he gave me an opportunity to be on a few of his albums, and the way like that we created, it was dark, but it was dark and lovely, and it was just fluid, and it taught me, don't worry about what they say, worry about how you feel, and I was going through a lot at the time, and I needed an outlet, and given the space and again the community, the support. Like, you know, we had different producers like that were on the record label that were like, hey, listen to this, like, you know, you want to make a song with this, and you know, you want to build onto this, or do you have an idea for this? And I was like, absolutely. Absolutely. And some great talent came out of that, and just really set the floor for me as an artist to stand on. And I'll forever be grateful for the opportunity to be on Unforgiven Records for sure.
Incredible. So then, after working with the label, you later launched Goth Hop Empire Entertainment. What was the turning point that made you go fully independent?
More so just wanting to give back in a sense as well. I really want to cultivate something where eventually I can sign on other artists as well. And I want my label to be more than just music. I want to branch out into fashion. I want to branch out into film. I want to branch out in so many different ways, like video.
Books?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like, and just being in that state of mind of like, okay, I want my own thing where I can like turn it into what I need it to be fulfilling for myself. That was sort of the turning point for me. Like, I want Goth Hop Empire Entertainment to be an empire. Like, I want to build it into something that is more vast. And it's, you know, I don't want it to just be about music. I want it to span from the music. You know, there's still themes there, but I just want something that's bigger than, you know, that itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I threw out books because that was the first thing that I thought of when I was listening to the music. I was like, dude, this is so many great stories I could just see in my head. Like, I could totally read a book that's based completely off this album.
I did start like not too long ago, so it's
Are you kidding?
yeah, it won't be done anytime soon. But
Yeah, but hey, you started. That's the hardest part.
it's obstacles, for sure.
Very cool. Well, then, how does being a label owner change the way you approach your career today?
Great question as well.
This episode of Underground Nation is brought to you by our sponsors at Flawless Cleaning Professionals, Denver, Colorado. Dedicated to transforming homes and businesses, they deliver top-tier cleaning solutions, residential, deep cleans, office spaces, and even post-construction projects. With unmatched attention to detail and a commitment to quality, they'll leave your space sparkling whether it's weekly service or that big occasion. Message Ryan Chavez of Underground Nation today for a free quote and to schedule. That's Flawless Cleaning Professionals in Denver, Colorado.
I would say just, again, being more expansive, understanding like, okay, this song is a song, but it's also a story, but it's also going to branch off into potentially a film, you know, a music video. So it's like always having that like broad sense, I would say, and the business aspect of it as well, you know, the marketing of it. Okay, like this can be marketed in a very specific way. This can be showcased in a very specific way, and just kind of being more, I've always been in tune, but also just more, I guess, vastly in tune. I guess it's like the best way that I can put it, of how things are perceived and how things are received, you know? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Very cool. Your latest project, is there love in the afterlife? I mean, the album title itself is a powerful question.
Yeah.
But what really sparked that concept?
Ooh. That title, I knew it had to be a question. Yeah, I knew it had to be a question. And the funny thing is the question is never answered, because we're obviously still living, so we don't have an answer. So I wanted to cultivate a record that uses love and life as metaphors, but also really hone in on this concept of like, okay, when a relationship is over, whether it be platonic, romantic, whatever, what is left over, you know? And in the same sense, okay, when life sets, when, you know, the Grim Reaper comes knocking, things like that, what truly exists post that death, you know? And the remnants of that is sort of what the album is within itself. And I know that's like a very vague but also potent way of putting it. I will say, I don't feel like there will ever be an answer to that question.
Yeah.
You know, at least I can't answer that right now.
You just have theories. That's really it.
So the record within itself, just in a nutshell, was just me really playing with this concept of like, okay, what is the aftermath? You know, what are we left with? Is there love? Is there hatred? Is there a sense of belonging still? Like, where are we? You know? And the songs are in sequence. Like, if you listen to them in order, they are going in sequential order.
Oh.
But the fun thing about that record is you end where you started.
It come full circle.
Exactly. So
very interesting. Songs like It Was You and Narcissus. I mean, those, they hit deep emotionally. Were these drawn from personal experiences or more symbolic storytelling?
both for certain. There's a lot of personal touch there. There's a lot of secondhand experience and observation from those closest to me as well. So I would say it's definitely the culmination of like my own experiences, things observed, to really bring it in, because we are never just necessarily ourselves. We are also the combination of the people that we spend the most time with and the people that we interact with. So no matter who I've interacted with or think like, okay, I'm coming into this as myself, well, people have made imprints on me. I've made imprints on other people. So there's always going to be this sense of like energetic transaction and that happens. So the record needed to really lean into that, and like, I can't make it all about me. You know, there needs to be a sense of like, okay, yes, I have my own experiences, but there are songs on there that are totally from the perspective of people in situations like that I have not totally been in. So it's sort of all over the place.
Yes, absolutely. Incredible. It's almost like that saying, if you hang out with 4 millionaires, you'll become the fifth. And there's also an opposite of that. If you hang out with 4 junkies, you'll become the fifth.
Exactly that.
Yeesh. Hard to think about. Especially when those people those 4 people are someone that you love and care about. But what was it like, being a producer yourself? What was it like working with different producers and collaborators on this project?
Very vulnerable. Like, I keep coming back to the sense of vulnerability because, you know, there are sounds that I experimented with for the first time. There's layers and things like that I haven't necessarily done before in this project. Both vocally, both, you know, sonically, instrumentation, things like that. And I would come to people actually in my actual life that have basically no experience producing. And I would sit with them in my studio and have them listen to this and say, like, so what do you hear? Like, do you hear the different layers that are happening here? Do you just hear like what's on the top? Like, what are you hearing? And they would tell me, and I would listen. I'd be like, okay, so that's being heard. That's not being heard. There's a lot of what's the word that I'm looking for? Like, things that are hidden in the track. So it's always interesting to hear what people actually are able to recall just from that initial listen, and experiencing that was beautiful for this record. Producing and allowing myself to be challenged with wanting to convey something that I didn't exactly know how to convey or needed some help conveying, you know, just needed different eyes on it, ears on it, whatever. It really allowed me to feel very capable at the end of the day of like, okay, I can learn, I will learn. And it's being perceived. People are feeling the things that I didn't know that I was capable of bringing forward and really making that like sonic connection to. Um, it was transcending, honestly. It was something like that I've wanted to do for a while. I've always wanted to self-produce. I've always wanted to, and I've always worked with other producers as well, but it's just like it's so different when it's just like this is a fully solo project, like all you hear is me, but there's also this, elements of people in my life that were sitting with me and they said, hey, add that in there. Hey, move that over there, and just having that experience really allowed me to feel more like every day. So just more and more like an artist, just creating and not being afraid of, okay, I can't do this, so gave me more confidence in a nutshell.
That's very cool. So then, say if fans walk away with one message from this record, what do you want it to be?
Looking for the real voices, the raw stories, and the underground culture they don't show you on the surface? Visit www.underground-nation.com and unlock the Underground Nation magazine digital archive. From exclusive interviews with rising artists and tattoo legends to full issues packed with underground music, ink, fashion, and rebellion, it's all there. New issues drop regularly. Every page, every voice, every movement. Tap into the culture at www.underground-nation.com. The underground isn't just music, it's a nation.
Be willing to challenge yourself, even when you feel like you've already been challenged. Because when you allow yourself to still write it out, you always come out better.
Absolutely.
Every single time. And this past year and a half has just been a testament. Like I have gone through so much in the past year and a half of just different experiences, both ups and downs, like amazing highs, but also very questionable lows.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's life. And that's life. And it's not something that I ever want to feel pity on. It's like, oh, woe is me. It's like, no. I fully accept the fact of like I've had some low lows, but at the end of the day, I kept challenging myself. I kept coming into my studio. I kept writing, and I've been in school the whole time, which I think has been something where it's like navigating all this different stuff going on, but also still coming back to my art and still being willing to say like, hey, this might not be perfect, but you can perfect this, you can sit with this, and you can make it into something beautiful that people will resonate with. So I think
Absolutely.
that take away.
Absolutely. That was a very great answer. Absolutely. Great. Well, I mean, your stage name, Jade the Nightmare, evokes a sense of mystery and darkness. How did that name come to you?
Nightmare. That question has evolved so much, and my response to it, of course. Nightmares happen, they're inevitable. They bring about things like that happen in our subconscious mind. They're things to pay attention to. I think that the concept of a nightmare is something like that I've always just been fascinated with. Because I'm like, why is our mind torturing us? Why are we being confronted with these things that are inherently scary or heart racing or provoking? And the thing that I want to bring forward with the concept of the nightmare is what happens in your sleep will never be as scary or frightening as what is happening in this world right now. So making that connection, bringing it forward of like, sure, nightmares happen, but there's things in the real life world that are nightmares that we need to look at, that we need to examine and understand, both in human nature, but also within ourselves, because they're both within the same. So
Yeah.
that's sort of where I attach myself to the concept of nightmare. You know, yes, there's mystique. Yes, there's a sense of like, okay, what's going on here? But it's also so starkly potent and like very hard to ignore and intense that you can't look away, because what you look away in your sleep and it's still there, you know. So you're still confronted with what you need to face, and when you wake up, those emotions still linger. You can totally forget what your even nightmare was about, but those emotions are still within you. That sense of like, you know, fight or flight is still very much present in the spirit. So
Right.
I would say that's sort of where it has come from. And like I said, that my answer to that question has evolved over time, but it's always just been the sense of like, there are certain things that you can't necessarily escape until you fully confront.
Yeah, you're right. And there's even evil that walks among us that's even really hard to talk about.
Yeah, 100%. And that's exactly where I come in as an artist and say, hey, I'm going to talk about these things. It's going to be uncomfortable. And it's not going to be easy for me. It's definitely not going to be easy for you to listen to sometimes. Like there are things like that I've said in my music that I'm like, oh shit. Like, and I look back on it, I'm like, you know, again, I was being raw. There was a message that was coming through me that needed to be conveyed in that moment. So I just let the music speak for itself.
Absolutely. You have to let the music speak for itself. Do you think the darker themes you explore connect to fans because they face the same struggles, or because you give them an escape?
I think it's more of an escape, but there is a lot of people that have told me, hey, I really connect with this. So there's a good balance to it, I would say. Majority of my audience, I would say majority of my audience, they definitely feel the escapeness of it, just because I'm very expressive and very like putting people into a world in my music as well. So I think that's more of the sense of like, okay, now we're sitting in this, we're experiencing kind of like sitting in a movie theater sort of experience. So, but there is a great deal of people that do resonate with the themes on a very personal level.
Yeah, I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
From experience.
Yeah. Seeing that.
And one thing I wanted to touch on is mental health is a reoccurring subject in your music. How do you as a person personally cope with the weight of your art and life?
You're locked into the Underground Nation podcast, and we've got Jade the Nightmare. From her new album, Is There Love in the Afterlife? This one cuts deep. The track is titled Narcissus. Look in the mirror, face the truth, and feel the darkness. This is Jade the Nightmare.
Baby, love it when you move like that. It's like Max the Sky, you attract a woman like magic. Your essence, my only wish. Her eyes rolling back, mine tan and black. Her body, my obsession, and my hands the weapon. Into with full perception. Now once entry, no exit. And when those legs split, it's 6 next split on my 6-day binge. Talking to 6 chicks like, which one is this? It's only courtesy, baby. I'm not nervous or crazy. Worship and haze me. Bring me in and save me. Convulsions as you feel me deep inside. You pretty poison and I lie too. Because once he finds out what I'ma do, I'ma pull out my 9 and make do. It's fading, it's breathing. Your heart, I'm hungry, it's beating. It's only you that I'm eating. There's no leaving, baby. Bleed, it's all I need. To feel the rush, to feel the touch. Your nails on my face, because I won't let you breathe. Please let me scream my name. I want you to say it to me. Look in the mirror, praying to me, say it to me. Line in my face, pay the price. I'ma cut into me. My love for eternity. How pretty, so out of a face, so empty. My doll, I'd give all. Fixated on imperfections. We are the connection in every flaw. A story told, each scar I love behold. Obsessed with every detail, every trace. Our love's depths, nothing can erase. Through highs and lows we remain. In our devotion we sustain. Fixated on you, my heart's direction. In every love, there's no correction. I need your pain, I need your lust. I hear you love him, but what about us? Can I not trust. You break me down, so build me up. If you forsaken me, I'ma cut you up. And I'll lick you up and I'll swallow you whole and spit you up. Can nothing split us up simultaneously inside. I wish that I never met you. I do regret you. The taste of this day now that I confess to you and I ruin, I sin. I curse the fates with the sorrow threefold of that woman aligned with sin.
Beautiful question. Strong support systems. I have people that have been in my life since I started making music.
Oh, wow.
Seeking out, forms of therapy as well. Talk therapy is definitely something that I feel like should be a human right. I feel like everyone should be entitled to at least some form of talk therapy, but unfortunately that's not always the case. But, just knowing that the music is always there too, that keeps me afloat. That is also my form of therapy and my ability to cope with certain things. So there's ways, and I'm very passionate about mental health. And there's an EP that I did a few years back called Suffer, which was a very, 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 very heavily mental health based album. The different representations on the album, like there's different figures that represent a different condition of like mental health things going on. So that's one of those pieces like that I really honed in on and understand. It's important to bring light to. I've always been interested in psychology. I took social psychology for a few years as well. So it's something that I'm very passionate about. It's just not like an active like career suit, but it is something that is very important to me.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I know we kind of talking about it earlier, but what has been the biggest obstacle you faced as an independent artist?
Question. I would say as an independent artist, just branching out, being, like I said, that Colorado is sort of like such a mixed state when it comes to what is actually appreciated from artists. So I think just branching out, really. I found most of my success online. So it's been more of like, okay, like getting in the field on the ground in Colorado and like actually branching out, just because like I have so much going on in general where I'm like sometimes I'm like more of just behind the computer and things like that. So also just putting myself out there as an independent artist and reaching out to promoters and allowing them to help me push myself forward in those senses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this day and age, you could perform right there in that room that you're in and to broadcast live on your social media. I mean, have 30, 40, 50 people watching you, just like you would at a bar.
Right. Very true. Very true, which is, very beneficial for independent artists right now is to really hone in on the social media aspect of it. I think like live performance is always going to be very, 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 very important, but it is, a great time to be alive as far as like being able to reach overseas. Like people from South Africa have reached out to me, people from Russia have reached out to me, and that within itself, I'm just like, how did you find me? Like that is actually beautiful because it's like, it could have came up on your Spotify playlist, but then you found my Instagram or you found like, whatever social media, but then you reached out to me, you let me know like the music is important to you. So it's amazing. It is amazing on both sides.
Yeah, it is. In my opinion, I think we're in a very exciting time for music. I mean, yes, we're facing new challenges with AI and all of that, but I personally feel for true, authentic artists, it's pushing us to take that next step and having the technology to reach further than our local scene through social media, like you said, Russia and other countries. I mean, it's a very exciting time to build an audience online and really help you cultivate your own community based around your music of Jade the Nightmare.
Absolutely. And like I have a Facebook group called Nightmare Nation. That
How's the Underground Nation join the Nightmare Nation? What's up?
Crazy.
Let's rush in, go. Maybe y'all will let us hang out.
That sounds perfect.
Ding dong.
I love it.
Very cool. I wanted to also kind of highlight, because like I said, you probably have experienced some struggles that I would probably never experience or be able to feel or maybe ever explain. As coming from a woman in alternative rap metal, what are the unique challenges compared to men in the genre?
Oh, there's so many. There's people thinking that you're just a face. There's people thinking that, you're perceived only by your appearance, but there's nothing behind that. So I will say that that's sometimes very standard, for when it comes to female artists. They think like you're perceived just a very certain type of way sometimes. So for people to actually deep dive into your music, sometimes that doesn't really happen. They just see you and that's it. Which creates, it's not the worst challenge, but it is a challenge because it's like, I'm also an artist and that is something very important to me. And then on more of a specific sort of note, is a lot of my music is very sensual and it is very like honing in on those themes. So allowing people to take those themes and still understand the artistic nature of it without associating it with, this is still not an invitation to interact with me in an inappropriate way.
Right. Hell yeah.
That creates a sense of like, I think something that is, and I'm sure it happens to artists all across the board, but I think disproportionately it definitely happens to female artists a lot more. And then also you add in the layer of just being POC, a Black artist as well, where people will say certain things like that they think is a compliment, but more or less that's more of like a backhanded sort of comment to make. And I always have to check people in that sense of like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, check them.
That's what we're not going to do, So always just having to be not necessarily on defense, but protect what you've created, and honor what I've created. There's art behind this. There's intention behind this. There's a level of respect that I have for my own art that I don't really like to give people space to directly undermine, sort of go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately, how can I say this? How do you keep pushing? I know we kind of talk about mindset too, but how do you keep pushing forward when the industry or life and unexpected challenges kind of hit you or tries to pull you down?
The underground never sleeps, and neither does the movement. The brand new issue of Underground Nation magazine is here packed front to back with exclusive artist interviews, raw stories, and the culture you can't find anywhere else. If you live for the underground, the music, the grind, the lifestyle, this magazine is for you. Don't wait. Don't sleep on it. Support the movement and grab your copy today at ugnstore.com. That's ugnstore.com. Get plugged into the underground and order your copy today.
Keep pushing forward. I think more so that looks like self-discipline within myself, releasing as much as possible, promoting as much as possible, interacting with fans as much as possible. That's something that's been important to me from absolutely day one, trying to reply to every single message if I possibly can, because I definitely do appreciate the people that appreciate my music, and interacting with them has been life-changing. And you never really fully grasp the reality of just someone really listens, and they don't have to. They don't have to necessarily go on Spotify and type in Jade the Nightmare and listen to her latest album or her newest release. Like, there is a level of intention behind that I just will never want to take for granted. So I like to honor that. And I really want people to understand that I care about the people that listen to me, and I appreciate them to extreme extents. And even when life does get busy, I try to get back to every single message when I possibly can. Comments, I try to heart every single comment, because I'm like, I want to acknowledge you and I want you to understand that I see you. And that keeps me accountable, because if I'm not feeding what I've created and I'm not leaning into, you know, what I know is important at a core level, but just life is getting busy and things like that, I have to remember there's people like that see me and that want to see me prevail. And in some ways I become a symbol for them, because I do have these different, you know, things that work against me, or I have a background that I'm like still trying to, you know, showcase of like, I can do this. So really reminding myself there's people assigned to this, and it's bigger than me at this point. And even like, and I'm a small artist, so I can only imagine, you know, just continuing to grow and continuing to bring more people into my world and have them listen and hear me. I need to make sure that I'm honoring that on a day-to-day basis and always coming back to that. When work would work me, I have to remember, like I have a passion for this. This is what feeds me. This is what, at the end of the day, you can strip away a job from me. You can strip away this, you can strip away that. I have my music. I have my albums. I have the people that appreciate what I do. And that is me. Like, that's who I am. So I will say that is typically what pushes me forward.
That's an incredible answer. And as of right now, I see you. So thank you for letting us into your world for a glimpse anyway. What's one dream collaboration you haven't done yet but hope to in the future?
Oh man, I've already checked so many boxes. So
you and Nikki?
That would be crazy. That would
be cool. Just like
far off. But in the present moment, there's an upcoming artist that is really challenging some barriers right now. Like, and he's very different. I feel like he doesn't necessarily, well, I won't even say that. He definitely overlaps in some spaces. Kane Colto. So his music is very witchy, there's some folk influences, there's some rap, hip hop elements. And I would just love to play with that and see what we create. That is like an artist that I just found out about like less than a month ago. That would be a beautiful collaboration. On a vaster scale, currently, I mean, I would of course love to collab with Seven Dust, like easy. That would be amazing. So
be really cool.
Yeah, I would love that. So I would say that's where I'm at with that right now.
Fantastic. Well, I hope that you're able to do those collaborations. I think it'd be freaking amazing.
Yeah, I would love that. There's so many different genres that I want to dip into still. So
we got some new experimentations going on in that brain of yours.
All over.
That's really cool. Well, where do you see Jade the Nightmare saying? Where do you see 5 years from now?
Film. Making my own films that showcase my music. Collaborating with both other artists, but also film producers, creators, things like that. Because I really do feel like I have an eye for video production as well.
Hey.
And I really want to lean into that in the next 5 years or so, because I feel like my music is definitely very expressive. And I feel like there's so much that I can do just both in front of the camera, behind the camera. My latest music video that I did, You're Mine, that's fully directed by me, fully, obviously produced by me, funded by me, directed.
Oh, wow.
All the actors are people that are, my closest friends. And I love that. I love that I was able to, produce that song, come up with that song, work with another producer for that song, and then bring it to life visually and push, people into a space that it was just an experience. Video creating is always like just a very stimulating experience for me. Just getting to see my art literally come to life as well. The visual manifestation of what I did in a room, everyone's able to see it now. It has, visual references to it. So I would say in the next 5 years, I definitely want to work on a film. I definitely want to release said film and just be continuing to create music, another album, another EP, and just keep pushing, honestly. Keep doing what I feel is true to myself, what feels fulfilling for my fans as well, and just continuing the thing, just living.
Absolutely. That's incredible. Well, if you ever need an extra in the background, I would like to fill in. I would love to be a part of that.
Oh yeah, I'll let you know.
Ooh, or tryouts. I'll try out.
I'll be fired.
Start planting seeds there. As an independent artist running your own label now, how do you balance the creative side with the financial responsibilities from marketing, distribution, promotion, etc.?
Underground Nation, the hunt is on. Bounce Ball Boogie and his co-host Spot Vega are live on TikTok, leading the panel in search of the hottest undiscovered talent. Think you've got what it takes? Here's your shot to prove it. Drop your track into the live stream, donate 99 coins for one full song play. The panel will review it live, give you real-time feedback, and if your sound hits, you'll earn a spot in the hot seat on the Underground Nation podcast. On TikTok, follow @Bounce Ball Boogie to join in on the fun every Thursday and Saturday night at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, I work a lot. Both, I do Patreon, I do that, bring in funds from there, merchandising. I manage all my own merch as well. So doing that work for myself. I have a full-time job as well. I'm a student as well. So, here and financing has been definitely, it was a learning curve growing up. I wasn't brought up to necessarily have a genuine understanding of how money moved, which was very common from the community that I came from. But I was like really a math head when I was growing up. So I got really attuned with the way like the numbers work and balancing things out, doing my balance sheet, doing my income statements, tracking, just certain things. So allocating certain funds to, okay, this is going to a music video. This is going to some marketing aspects. Okay, this producer I want to work with, of course, they need to eat too. So let me make sure that they're compensated. So just balancing all the money just like that. Feeding the dream. There's days where I don't want to go to work. Most people.
Fuck a job.
Honestly, yeah. But just knowing at the end of the day, like I have responsibilities to my art that I want to bring life to. So,
absolutely. Well, I thought I had a hefty schedule. Look at yours. Woo-wee.
But I make time. I always make time. That's why I'm like, whenever I can, I will, to do things, to spend time with people that have helped me with my art as well. Because it does get busy. It gets very busy. People be like, Jade, you're ignoring me. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Yeah. Just busy, yo. Let me work. Watch you cook.
Working, and just being self-sufficient, and I don't ask for much from people. I'm a very self-sufficient person, and I want to give back to my community. And that's another thing, like bigger scale. I want to make sure that I pay it forward in a lot of different ways. So I have to make sure that I keep the dream going and doing that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, you just mentioned a Patreon, so you're already building a Nightmare community, and you just said Nightmare Nation on Facebook groups. Oh, where do we go to Patreon? What if I want to become part of that community? Where do I go? What do I look for?
Just Patreon/Jade the Nightmare online, and my Patreon has
Apple.
yeah, and yeah, I can send you the links over as well. Send them over to you, but yeah, my Patreon has 2 tiers, so think behind the scenes, exclusives, just different content that Facebook obviously would never, but it's more of just more freedom, less censorship as well, a space that I've cultivated and sort of like just been tailored more to, just people that want more, so
Yeah.
it's been good. It's been good. And it's extra revenue. The money just goes directly back into my art. So some people just want to contribute in that way, which I wholeheartedly appreciate, so it's my way of saying, you don't have to give me a donation, but I'm just saying, if you want more, then, that option is there for sure.
Amazing. Well, Jay the Nightmare, this was an incredible conversation. Can I ask you, what would you say to the 13-year-old young lady who's in her room right now saying, man, I just want to be an artist one day? What advice would you give to that young lady?
I would give her the advice of do not let anybody tell you who you are. You have literally the world in your hands. There is nothing that anyone can do to you or say to you that can take away the dream. And if you stay true to that, you will inherently succeed. There's been a multitude of things that have actively tried to destroy me, both spiritually, physically, and I just kept coming back, and I'm hard to kill. Apparently, it really throws them off.
Wait.
Genuinely. So I would just tell that little girl, hang on to that, embrace that. You have a support system. You have people that want to see you succeed overall. And again, just don't let anybody take that away from you.
Absolutely. Very well said. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a beautiful question.
Yeah, it's a beautiful answer, and it's a beautiful conversation that you and I had. Very, very, very deep, and letting us into your world. It's incredible. Just thank you.
Of course. Of course.
But with that, Jade the Nightmare, any shout outs, thank yous, anything we forgot to promote, please, it's your time to shine.
Oh, of course. First and foremost, shout out to you. I really appreciate you taking this time to give me a platform to speak. It's been, I want to say, at least a year and a half since I've actually been on like a podcast, genuinely.
Hey, well, welcome back to the podcast world.
Oh, this is amazing. So I appreciate that. I want to give a shout out to people that support me, my friends, my supporters, just people that actively engage with me on a day-to-day basis or just whenever they can. My family, my mom specifically. My mom has been one of my biggest supporters. She's the only parent that I have, so I'm like, gotta love her twice the amount, which, more than twice, really. So
thank you, J Mama.
Of course, and I'll make sure she knows. So, yeah. If people want to see what I'm up to, jadethenightmare.com. That has all my links, my discography, everything from newest releases, joining the mailing list, things like that. Socials, Jade the Nightmare across the board, and just that's where I'm found online. And I'm grateful.
Very cool. Wow, what a powerful conversation tonight with Jade the Nightmare, a true pioneer of Goth Hop and a fearless voice from Denver's underground. If you haven't already, go spin her latest album, Is There Love in the Afterlife? And make sure to check out the tracks It Was You, Narcissus, and You're Mine. Hit that follow button on all social media at Jade the Nightmare. Stream her catalog on Spotify and Bandcamp. And don't forget to tap into her world at jadethenightmare.com. And of course, keep it locked with us here at the Underground Nation Podcast. Like, follow, and subscribe, not just to us, but to Jade the Nightmare as well. Together, we keep the underground alive. This is your host with the ghost, Bounce Ball Boogie. Signing off. Until the next time, stay haunted, stay hungry, and stay underground. Jade the Nightmare, thank you again.
Of course.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Underground Nation Podcast, featuring the one and only Jade the Nightmare. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to all of her social media pages and streaming platforms. And don't forget to dive into her haunting new album, Is There Love in the Afterlife? A question that may never be answered. And of course, your host with the ghost, Bounce Ball Boogie. Follow the bouncing ball across every platform. He's not just the host, he's an incredible artist himself, doing major things for the underground.